they can't get it no more. The doors of mercy are closed.
Right. Right.
He ain't gonna warn you no more. It's here. So when you don't see us on the street, you about to get swept up by the flood. But the flood represents the different plagues and destruction that's gonna come upon you people.
Hey, even Enoch, even he prophesied, man. He even had the testimony. And the Lord basically after that, and that was when you start to see the corruption of the sons of God. Yep. Enoch was translated. The Lord basically sealed him up like, all right, let me seal my testimony with him and let me translate him so that he don't get deterred by the corruption of the world. And that was it, man. Then after that, the Lord, raised up Noah. Noah walked with the power. Okay. The rest of the world was engulfed in wickedness. Noah and the Most High was like, hey, these people, they're being corrupt. There's too much violence. All right, there's too much wickedness. There's too much lewdness going on. So you know what? Build this ark. All right, and these are the instructions. All right, this is the measurements that I want you to build, so that you can fit your family. Because I find favor with your house. Mm-hmm. You're gonna put your family there, and you're gonna have all the different animals. All right, 2 of its kind, male and female, and you're gonna store them in this ark.
Oh yeah, don't forget to bring yourself some food too.
Right.
Just for the edification of that.
Right. And after that, after the days of you going out there prophesying and letting these people know that the Lord's getting ready to rain on the earth, I'm gonna shut you up in this ark, you and your family and those animals, and I'm gonna flush this whole entire planet out.
Right.
That was the first death.
Yep.
All right. That was the first death. All right. And you better believe this. The people, the way they are right now, they were the same way back then. There's nothing new under the sun. They didn't take Noah seriously, man. Hey, they probably was spitting on Noah and saying, "Hey, I just found get that rain off of you." Yeah. You could just using your imagination. They was being assholes back then. Why are you building that? You look crazy. What is this for?
What is that?
You finna take this for a ride? You in the middle of Arrowhead. Well, Slack it, not Arrowhead. That's where it landed.
Yeah.
But he was on land building it.
Yeah, because it was Pangea and there was no.
It was no. It was no.
Water.
Yeah, he wasn't next to a coast of water, man.
Yeah.
I knew excuse me, brother.
So,
I knew an Armenian woman who said that the ark had landed in Armenia.
Yeah, that's where Arrowhead is. Arrowhead, Mount Arrowhead is in Turkey.
Brother, with all due respect, man, I know you guys are out here doing your thing, but I want to present a question, a serious question.
Hey, that's what we out here for.
Regarding this,
the
chart, and these nations you have to the left, and you say you represent the nations to the right. I'm standing my left, right. Well, can you tell me where in the scriptures, or where do you get the idea that these nations represent these tribes?
Genesis 49.
Yeah, Genesis the 49th chapter.
It's little clues spread out.
And it shows what they would be doing in Ogo. You said, yeah.
Yeah, you was gonna say it, right?
Yeah, man. And really, I'm gonna say this too. We could go into it,
Please.
but the Holy Spirit will have to work with you in order to understand it as we're teaching it to you.
Yeah,
Right. If the Spirit is not there, then you might be having, because really this is based on faith.
Spirit.
It's based on faith and spirit.
Right?
You know what I mean? So just to give you an example, let's deal with Asher for a second. Go to Genesis 49.
I got it.
Asher.
Verse 20.
Yeah, the tribe of Asher.
Genesis 49 verse 20, it says, out of Asher his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. And that's in Naphtali. That was the verse on Asher.
Right. So when you look at the land where
South America,
where these tribes are in South America, they have those dainties there. It's very rich in resources there. Okay.
Dainties? That's a fruit like a date?
Well,
it's just the resources of the land, really. They have a lot of resources down there. And if you look at where the tribe of Asher, those tribes, the countries that those people are in.
Colombia and Uruguay.
Right, all of those, as well as Brazil, right? It's all the countries in there. Peru, I believe, is Asher also. that's the bread of the earth. That's the most vast land of the earth, of South America. They have the most land over there. You know, that tribe has the most land down there. So they have the bread, and then they have all the rich resources of the land down there too.
That's why a lot of the countries down there are named after those specific resources. Like Brazil, you get Brazil wood. That's where they got the name.
Nuts,
Yeah. So that's because it was a delicate type of wood that they used for lots of things. They shipped it back to Portugal and Spain. It's another country down there that I did a lesson on it too.
Because remember when they was having these conquests to the New World, what do you think that they were using them slaves for? All those resources that was in Brazil, Peru, all those different countries. It was a lot of fruit. It was a lot of sugar. It was sugar cane, tobacco, all those different things.
So we have a lot of sugar cane, tobacco, right? So
Exactly.
They brought the slaves from the transatlantic slave trade to Cuba.
Yeah, to hoard as much,
Which
to
a lot of-
harvest it
gotta-
and make money off
A
it.
lot of them slaves were Nigerians, the Bantu regions of Africa.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know?
I got something to back you up for as far as some of the bywords, which they call us, like Argentina, South American nation, the Latin Argentinus of silver, from pie root arg to shine.
So let me say this.
Oh, that's Naphtali, right?
Yeah.
What I was gonna say was when King David, he would send ships. It took about a year and a half to go one way, to ships to go get resources from over here. They knew that this land was rich in all North, Central, and South America was rich in resources. But he was doing it according to our Holy Land Sabbath, the way the Most High gave it. But when Esau realized that it was over here, they came over here and just they saw the abundance of it. Like when you go into the history of it, the so-called Native Americans, they had to teach them, like, hey man, you better build yourself a house. You better find food. You better find your water source before you start trying to dig up everything. They're just trying to dig up everything, throw it on the boat. This is gonna take you too long. You're gonna die out here. So they had to kind of civilize them because they saw the abundance of the resources.
Like Mexico, for example, Mexico. It was colonized by French, Spain, Austrians. Austrians send the royal families to govern Mexico. And Uruguay and Argentina, both bad white people, straight white people in Uruguay and Argentina. So
Brazil was Portuguese.
when you tell me the chapter Genesis 39 or
49.
I'm gonna find all of the similarities that you said. How you pair one nation to one tribe is all in Genesis 49.
Pretty much.
Because when you read the top,
Yeah.
this is when
I'll read it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Genesis 49:1. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
God,
Yeah.
what shall befall you in the last days?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to Issachar because we brought up the Mexicans.
Go ahead.
Verse 14, it says, Issachar is a strong ass. Now, what is an ass or a donkey? It's pretty much a labor animal, right?
Yeah.
Right? Works hard, strong, right? Smaller in stature. You telling me that and just describe a Mexican? Right? But it says also, crouching down between two burdens. That's Central America, between the two Americas, the North and South America. Okay? It says, and he saw that rest was good. What is that? You tell me what that is.
That's a siesta.
It's a siesta, bro.
That's the thing in Mexico when
Where did the siesta come from?
They're just hard workers know when they need rest. They
It
be
came from
working.
Spain. Siesta came from Spain.
the word came from them.
Right.
And the
But
practice,
the practice was in Argentina.
practice came from Spain.
Well, all Jake like to chill and relax. That's just a characteristic of us. That's why I said Jacob is a plain man dwelling in tents.
Can you read to me?
I
the
do it
Cuba
out
one?
here in my lunch break. I'll take a 30-minute nap.
That'd be great if everybody
You
could
know?
take a break halfway through the shift. That'd be awesome.
But everybody don't think like that.
Can you read to me the Cuba one?
And let me wrap this up and I'll get to it for you.
All right.
But are we answering your question though? Or does
Little
it
by
sound-
little,
does it
little
make
by little,
sense?
it's making sense.
It
But I'm coming. I got a little bit more.
All right. It says, and he saw that rest was good, and that the land it was pleasant. right? And bowed his shoulder to bear and became a servant to tribute. The name Ishashkar means he is hired. They're great workers. Period, point blank, they are great workers.
You can say that about a lot of people.
But
I agree
that
with you.
whole
I agree with you.
In
I agree
America,
with you.
who works harder than Mexicans?
I agree with you.
yeah,
I agree with
you
you.
know, straight up.
So-called Mexicans.
But you,
Right.
you can. I mean,
And they
can
do
make
they
arguments for a
do
lot of
all of it. They do agriculture.
yeah.
No,
hell yeah,
Negroes
hell yeah.
Negroes don't. Negroes
Judah
don't.
don't like working.
They don't work, bro. They like bossing.
Okay.
You know, they like being.
They want to go to the job and be the boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They walk in first day of the job. That's what you just said, huh?
Yeah.
They're like, no, they can do that. You know, it's not in every spirit, right? But you know, Joseph is the forefather of Manasseh and Ephraim, right?
Joseph.
He was the son. So he
Who's
so
the son of Joseph?
He was the father.
Manasseh
Father of
and
Joseph was Jacob.
Manasseh's Cuban.
Joseph is the father of,
Manasseh and Ephraim.
Yeah, Master.
and Joseph is the son of,
Jacob.
Jacob's student.
Jacob is the son of
Isaac.
Isaac the son of Abraham.
Right.
Yeah.
Abraham, Isaac,
Jacob.
Jacob, Joseph.
But yeah, when you get to Jacob, but it's also all the different tribes: Judah, Benjamin, Levi, you know, Simeon,
Asher,
Gad, Asher, Naphtali,
Reuben.
all the ones on the side. Except, but there was also Dan, right? We ain't gonna get into that, but we're gonna say how Joseph had two sons, and the blessing was passed on to them. And the funny brother explained it how Ephraim got the, even though he was the
I
younger,
was watching down the
he
street.
got the
You
older.
were saying that. Yeah.
Right? But just saying this so that when they bring up Joseph, that's talking particularly about them, but also talking about the tribe of Israel, the northern kingdom, because one of the sons of Joseph, Ephraim, is the head tribe of that kingdom. Right? So verse 22, it says, Joseph is a fruitful bow, even fruitful bow by a well, whose branches run over the wall. Now, trying to think how I explain this.
I mean, the word Ephraim is a parian, which means fruitful. That's why it's so many of them.
Yeah.
Everybody know, you know, the devastation of what they had to endure, you know, by the conquisition. But even within, they still manage. You know, they're still there. You know, and you got a good portion of them all over the East Coast, all over New York.
Yeah.
All the way down to Miami.
Considering how many there are in the small island that they're on, you know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of
So
Ephraimites.
many of them,
So
man.
many Ephraimites.
So many of them.
But that's also the Manassites as well. You know? That's also it's both. That's two tribes.
So
Fruitful
what
tribes.
you described there about the fruitful tribes, you're describing the Puerto Ricans and the Cubans.
Because Richport, which is what Puerto Rico means, they have rich in resources.
Or rich harbor.
Cuba had it also.
Yeah.
They had their island was rich in resources as well. You know, but the way things had to be named, it was named differently by the conquistadors, according to what they found valuable in that land, not by the people that were there, because they were going to rename it after themselves or take control of it. You know, and I believe that well. I'm not sure. If somebody knows, but I believe that well is the Gulf down there. So that there's a lot of water down there where it's like it's not really necessarily moving water, like an ocean. Right, right. But I could be wrong. I don't remember. I ain't heard that breakdown in a while.
So that description, that's where it describes Cuba as being a genocide.
One of the sons of Joseph.
That description that you read, where it's fruitful,
Right.
that's the only description you get to tie Cuba to the Manassites?
Manasseh?
No, there was
There's all types of characteristics throughout the Bible.
were you still in Genesis 49?
Yeah.
Did you come across Manasseh?
Yeah. Let me keep going. Let me keep going.
Because
I
and
forgot
they
this
plus
part.
they were Manasseh was one of the warrior tribes. Okay, they were known to be skillful in battle and war, just like the Native
I forgot
Americans.
this a little bit more. Yeah.
All right, and that's another thing about you got a lot of Cuban fighters and
Yeah, yeah.
boxers that's
Warriors.
good in that ring. They're known for their warriors thing.
Another thing,
The revolution from Fidel Castro too.
Yeah,
That's a miracle the way Fidel
watch
Castro
what it's
started
about
his
to say.
revolution.
Watch what it's about to say. But real quick, half of Manasseh, that's how large they were, half of Manasseh, the Gadites and the Reubenites were on the east side of the River Jordan to protect it from any enemy coming in. So we were over there as the warriors, right? But watch what it says here, though.
I seen that on the map, right? They spread out on the west and on the east of Israel.
The other tribes were on the western bank of
So that was strategic.
yeah,
Since there was the fighters.
because those are the fighters on the east side of it, right? It says the archers have sorely grieved him and shot at him. And didn't we have a missile crisis down there with archers, with arrows? Just putting archers in over there. You know what I mean? It says
and that's the modern form of
right.
Nuclear missile.
the arrow.
It says, but his bow abode in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hand of the mighty power of Jacob. From thence the shepherd, the stone of, the shepherd, the stone of Israel. Because Yahweh Shai is going to strengthen them too. Okay? You got to go pick up 12,000 of each tribe. And these Americans, man, I don't think you're going to get 12,000 out of America, out of any tribe, to tell you the truth. Maybe Judah, maybe. But then you're still scattered all over the world trying to gather these tribes.
When you talk about Judah, like if you got a little more, I'll wait till you're done.
No, that was, I think that was pretty much the point.
So talking about Judah, but you say that the Israelites are only the ones the Negroes that came through the transatlantic slave trade, correct?
No, it's just the people of the sea through the house of that came down through the house of Judah.
Through the sea.
Through all of the
So that
different
can
tribes.
include Ham.
No. Ham
Who
is
is
not.
Ham? What nation
Ham
is
is the
Ham?
Africans.
But Africa is very big. What countries is Ham?
Well, get the sign. We got the sign.
On the sign, yeah. But it's the Canaanites, the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, and
Mizraim. What do you call the Mizraim? Egyptians.
yeah, here we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, the Libyans was the other
And
one.
Ham means, it's really pronounced hum, which means hot.
Yep, in Hebrew.
Where's the Nigerians?
With the Nigerians, a lot of those were so-called Negroes. A lot of those were when they ran from Roman persecution. When they ran from Roman persecution during 70 AD, they went down to Western Africa, and then they settled in certain lands over there. A lot of the west coast of Africa is where they were, and the way that they knew that they were different than the Hamites, because they couldn't tell strictly by their dark skin, was by the customs they kept. Because those people kept the customs of the Israelites, the Western Africans, which were Israelites. They kept the customs of the Israelites.
Yeah.
They still kept the Sabbath. They still kept certain harvest days, certain feast days.
Let me show you real quick a map. All right, this was a ancient world map going back to the 1700s. On the west coast of Africa, you actually had the whole western coast, or the Gold Coast. What do you see up there? You see Judah. You see, they called it Wida. Judah.
Fort Judah also.
Yeah, the Igbos of Nigeria, those were Jews. And Igbo is Hebrew. All right, and then you got a lot of the Bantus that's in Ghana and them different other parts of Africa. Did you know that Bantu, that language, even though it became what it became, but it has elements of Hebrew contained in that language. As a matter of fact, this book actually points to that. Let me get it. Let me go to the page.
Start bringing that other book. I hope it wasn't that bad.
Let me go to it.
It's that Olotunde, whatever it was. Remember that other book we had?
Well, Uledu Equiano?
Yeah, Equiano.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't it a book that we did a video on?
Yeah.
This is the Negro Question Part 2. It says the African slave ships that came from Judah. All right, by Lee B. Cummings. You can order that. Page 56. It says.
And we're just showing you how secular history recorded the things that we're talking about in the Bible. How we can when it lines up with the Bible, we can use it to prove our faith even stronger.
Con.
So when you say that the Egyptians that fled the Romans through the persecution that populated Nigeria
No, the Israelites, there were Jews, there wasn't
Israelites.
Egyptians. Yeah.
resided in
Egypt.
Egypt.
Yeah, the
We
Egyptians,
originally we would reside there because Egypt was always a land that we would go and retreat to.
Like a refuge.
Sometimes we would migrate there,
and if you look,
or sometimes if we were being persecuted, we would flee to the land of Egypt.
hey, show the map again. If you look where it's at, it's in northern Africa.
No, not this one. You talking
No,
about
it's
this
not
one?
on that. Not on
no,
that map.
no, this
Oh,
is the west coast.
Well, the other map shows that Egypt is in northern Africa. So Israel is right above that.
Yeah, you
So
don't even need
Egypt
to
is
go over
yeah.
water to get into
Run
the
down,
land of Egypt from
you know,
the land of Israel.
hurry up and
Or
get next to the
Canaan.
next dark people.
Yeah.
You blend in. They're gonna go through all Africa looking for you. You know?
If I can, the reason for the question, you know, I mentioned how Uruguay is pure white people. You know, you could refer to them as the so-called white man's the Edomites, right?
Not all of them.
Not all of them. I talked to you about that 2 weeks ago when I came and I asked you. I said you refer to white people as Edomites, and I said we established that not all white people are Edomites, right? And then you said it's in the spirit, right? According to you. And then you mentioned Bruce Lee.
Right.
You know, and you said obviously Bruce Lee's an Asian man.
Right. But by the Spirit, you can read him being an Israelite. Right.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I'm getting at. Is that you cannot, I believe, you cannot put a nationality on the spirit.
Right.
And these are nationalities on the right here.
Right.
Dominicans, Haitians, Puerto Ricans, Cubans. Those are
Right.
nations
Right.
filled with all different types of spirits.
Right. No, but here's the thing.
And
If you look at the majority of these people, they have the spirit of Israelites.
a lot of them do.
Because when you look at where they landed when they came over here in the land that they inhabited, these are those lands generally. But when the conquistadors came to mingle, now you have the mixing of what happened, and then the shifting around where everybody's at. Okay, but generally the seed, which you can notice who is of the seed by the spirit, that's what we're talking about. You can tell that there are Israelites still. And plus, the curses is a sign that will forever be on our people until the Lord lifts it up off of us. And if you look down what's going on in South America, telling me those aren't the plagues of the Lord, they're going through. We're going through all the same plagues that we're going on up here. And it actually seems
It's actually
lighter
worse.
up here.
It's worse
That's
now.
what I'm saying. It seems a lot lighter up here. But the end of it is going to be a lot worse up here. But they're going through it worse in the time now. They're already going through cannibalism, economy collapse, and all this other stuff down there.
Yeah, real quick, I just wanted to read just a little bit since he inquired on Judah, dealing with the Bantu. And there's the other tribe, you know, you got the Bantus, you got the Yoruba, you got the Limbas, you know, you got all those different the Ashantis, you know. And there's you got Judah, Benjamin, and Levi amongst those Western Africans. Because we're scattered all over the place, you know.
And they just put that on that side to show you what they would be called today.
You know, just generally.
You know,
Where the bulk of us would be, according to what it said in Genesis, you know.
It doesn't mean like.
But the Asian man's not there.
I know, because the Asians generally aren't us, but we are scattered within the Asians. We are scattered within some of the Edomite nations. We are scattered within some of the
whole world, Babu.
Japhetic
The
nations.
whole world.
Exactly. Amongst all the other types of people. And we even look like them and carry their customs and their beliefs against our own people. But at the end of the day, there's rednecks that are us, that hate niggers, but they are us. You know?
And at the end of the day, the Lord is going to sift.
How you out here?
The Lord's going to sift
Easy.
everything out. The Lord's going to do all. He's going to. The Lord scattered only. He only scattered us together is precious.
Right.
So those that are chosen, whether they look like an Israelite or not, they're going to be gathered through this anyway.
I got it, bro. It's Matthew 13 and 28, and it reads, it's like I'm starting 24. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also.
You can see the differences, and you can really see the constitution of the man. You see where the spirit's really reading. You can't tell in a child. until he starts doing manly ideas, coming up with his own thoughts from his own type of spirit that comes from him.
So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath it tares? He said unto them, An enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go up and gather them? But he said, Nay, lest while you gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest.
And if I may interrupt right there, once you let them grow up, you'll see the maturity of the Judite spirit, of the Israelite spirit within them, or the righteous child of God, Israelite spirit within them, versus the Edomite wicked spirit within them, or whatever other nation they're from.
Gather ye up, let both grow together until the harvest, and in the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, Gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying,
And what he's saying is, we're gonna take the ones that we want, and put them in the safety with the rest of the Israelites. The ones we don't want, is he gonna say it right in that chapter?
This is 30. Let both grow together until the harvest, and in the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, Gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in the bundles to burn them.
Burn them, get rid of those.
But gather,
and that's a sign of Edomites particularly, but the heathen.
Yep.
Okay? Versus his Israelites are going to dwell safe in the barn, right?
this is continuing. But gather the wheat into my barn. Now I'm gonna jump down to 36. No, 36. Then Yahweh Shai sent the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, Declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. He answered and said unto them, He that soweth the good seed is the Son of the Man, the Son of Man's like the field is the world, the good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. God, Yahweh broke it down to him plain. This is 40. As therefore,
at the top of the chapter, he was talking about they kept asking, why are you speaking to them in parables? They don't understand. He's like, it's not for them to know it, it's meant for you to know the mystery.
That's why he broke it down to them when later.
Private. They were sent away. Everybody else was sent away.
And the Lord he's twofold with his wisdom. Because we breaking it down on to a carnal sense, and spiritually, even within Israel, you're gonna have tares that the Lord's gonna separate. You're gonna separate the false prophets from the true prophets. The true followers versus the false followers.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of the world, of the end of this world.
That's right, man. Go.
I'm gonna say, but all the Israelites, no matter what you look like before, whether you believe or not, you're gonna be an Israelite in the kingdom of heaven. If your spirit goes back to your fatherland, you're gonna be an Israelite, living in righteousness, written with all the laws and everything, and all the blessings still upon you in the kingdom of heaven.
Somebody get Romans 8:16.
Like the brother said, it's like you can see, it's all about the spirit. You can see an Israelite spirit versus the spirit of a heathen. It's like you ever see like a ghetto ass Asian person? I don't know, we have. You see a ghetto ass Asian person, you know that's different than one of these Asian tourists or somebody. You know what I'm saying? You could see the spirit. You don't, for instance, you only see ghetto ass so-called black people fighting in the street. Then you see Latinos doing it. Then you don't see Asians and Edomites really doing that shit, fighting over weave and shit. You see what I'm saying? So you can see the spirit, even though they're off. You know what I'm saying? But I was just trying to break it down so you could see the
like rhythm, dance.
Rhythm, yeah.
How they carry themselves. Certain high quality of style, Way they talk. Style. Why do we accept certain Asians and certain white people to use the word nigga? Not nigger, but nigga. Why do we? Because we can't deny it feels right coming from inside their spirit. It doesn't come from necessarily a negative place.
China Mac.
China Mac. Prime example. Certain of the ones that look confusing faces, we call them.
What's the one that
like
rap?
Another nation, but they're
it's another one that rap too, like Jin or something.
You said, you were talking about the Yoruba people, Nigeria, and how you said they're Israelites. They fled from Egypt. You know?
Yeah, I mean, all all the Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, they all fled out of Jerusalem during the besieging during 70 AD. We spread all over. We ended up in different. We got people in Morocco. We got people in Algeria, Tunisia, Libya. Our people are all over the place.
You got people.
And we're not able to pinpoint the exact tribe that they actually from, but we know that they have to be a part of.
That brings to me the part of like the sacrifices in their spirituality and religion. Ancient Hebrews.
Some of their customs.
Ancient Hebrews, they sacrificed animals to the Most High.
Hey, a lot of people say Irish, like I'll listen to this Irish guy, right? Sound like a Jamaican to me, man. Or maybe a Levite, a Haitian. With the way that their dialect sounds, the way that they use their words sounds similar in phonic. You know what I mean?
So if I can understand this, so those were Hebrews, but they didn't bring the Christianity part, Yahweh knowledge to Nigeria. What happened?
Which you far get the scripture.
They got colonized.
The Yoruba people.
Jeremiah
I'm saying
7
like
and
as a
14.
whole, when he saw one of his
7, 14
conquests,
and 17 and
that
4.
was when he started to impose or enforce religion. Just like you got those, you got our people there. You also got Arabs. You got the actual Hamites. And what are the predominant religions that they embrace over there? Christianity, Islam. So that's what happened, and it kind of assimilates into whatever practice or whatever customs that they have. Sometimes they'll end up, it'll come in and kind of
show itself.
Alterate it.
I'm telling you, the Yoruba people didn't have the teachings of Yahweh.
Originally?
Originally, sir.
Okay, how do you know that?
Based on what?
They call God Olodumare. They don't call God.
So what does that translate to?
They call Orumila. Orumila will be basically like the right hand of the Most High, which is Yahweh. To them, it is Orumila.
Okay. Christians say Jesus.
Right.
They're not saying Yahweh.
Right.
They still, you still got
Go
Jacob
any
amongst
black or
Christians.
Hispanic church.
And let me tell you, and they don't believe in the devil. The Yoruba people.
Yeah, we've fallen away from the heritage that the Lord gave us too. Bro, grab out Jeremiah.
I got it.
Come on.
Jeremiah 17 verse 4, thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in a land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
Right, the scriptures say we going to discontinue from our heritage. Even in the New Testament, the Gentiles, which were Israelites among the heathen, they fell away from the heritage of the scriptures too. That's why they were into doing what the Greeks did. That's why they were into doing what the Romans did. But does that mean they still weren't of the seed of Israel? No, they were partying just like the Greeks.
They were following those Greek gods, Jupiter, what's it, Zeus, and all that stuff.
Hades, all of that. Yeah. They were into those philosophies, but they were still of Israel. But due to the fact that they were by these heathen nations, they sucked up the energy and the philosophies and customs of those heathens. But does that mean that they weren't Israel? No, they just were in those different wines.
And you gotta think about how things happen in the earth, right? You can always, like the time of the Greeks, they figured out we gotta take them away from their God. So they Maccabees chronicalizes that history. Pretty much when Antiochus Epiphanes took the Bibles from us and our heritage and our customs from us.
To back what the brother's saying, Antiochus Epiphanes put out a decree that any Israelite doing what the law basically stated, and you were to be killed. He said you can't. The women can't circumcise their children. He said and if you wanted to sacrifice, you had to sacrifice the meat of swine.
Yeah.
So he was basically breaking down Israel as a nation by removing them from the law and the statutes of their fathers.
Bro, they burned the books.
They burned the books.
That's in Maccabees.
So what did they do? As the scriptures say, they consented unto the religion of the Greeks.
Yeah.
Much like Israel scattered everywhere.
Now moving further upon that point, so you had a time period where we were taken away from our heritage and our customs, but then they realized we still move by a power, a higher power. So they had to give us a higher power according to their belief for us to follow, to continue to control us, because they knew we were believing people. So that's what they always did. So now you have all these other deities and gods that we follow. But like the brother said, the two main ones was the that's why you see so many what's it called when there's one God?
Atheists? Or no?
No. When there's monotheism, belief of one God or study of one God, right? We see that because that's what we have. We have one God. We know that, but we follow after that type of system setup, right? In belief of our gods. Well, that's the same thing with Allah. It's the same thing with Christianity, right? So they use those two to control both sides, and it all stemmed out of the Roman Catholic Church. So that's why you're gonna always see us gravitate to that. Even though there's the other ones that don't want to believe, they just covered all bases with all the different religions. Read that book.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other.
So we had a debate the other day. The brothers Dallas debated with this Calvinist, vocab Malone, basically, right? And he was saying, so not every African that was an Israelite went on the slave ship. You don't have to. We're scattered already. It's the curse still hit us as a people, no matter how it was. Whether they got on a slave ship or we built the ships ourselves, what the Northern Kingdom did, and then sailed all the way to the Americas. Either way, we still ended up in the same predicaments. Okay, go ahead, bro.
And there thou shalt serve other gods.
We serve all these other gods that somebody else gave us because they took our heritage away, right? Yeah.
Which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
So we wasn't serving your house. Keep going.
Even wood and stone.
Now you look at wood and stone, a lot of times when you see a crucifix, it was with wood, right? And what was the stone? The cobblestone, okay? For Islam. The same thing them Muslims circle around, however many times a day, whatever they do.
Oh, that square shit?
Yeah. It's a stone in there. They say it's from space or some other shit, whatever the lore about that is. Yeah, meteorite, whatever that is, it's the same two main that we serve.
Let me get to that. I believe it was you who mentioned that the Native Americans in this country knew Yahweh's name.
But they spoke it in their language. The language was a broken dialect of Hebrew. They called it Quetzalcoatl.
That's the one Yahweh Shai.
Yeah, that's how I mean Yahweh Shai.
They called the both sides. Some tribes called it Yam or Yahweh. That's how they would say. They would say Yahweh.
Native Americans.
And then of course they dug up the relics here all throughout North America with the Hebrew inscriptions on it.
Yeah.
The Los Lunas stone in New Mexico had Hebrew, the ancient Hebrew that we use. Paleo that we use. Written on.
Yeah.
And then you go to the Indian tribes of Mexico, the Aztecs down there were sacrificing human beings to the sun.
Right.
Ripping out hearts
the
and shit.
idea of the sacrifice was still there, but they were doing it in wickedness. Because they were far away, because who were the lawgivers of our nation? The Levites, they were still over in the eastern world. So there was nobody to really dictate the law to them, so they had to just kind of do what they did.
And what they did was turn back to a lot of the customs from Egypt that they knew living in Egypt, like far as building the pyramids all throughout Central and South America, because they were trying to mimic what they knew, what they're familiar with. Even the Native Americans do the same thing, because there's a lot of pyramids, or what they call domes, that they built all throughout America.
Like in the Caribbean, they had the Tainos, and then I forget the name of the other tribe, but the other tribe was like a wicked, evil-ass tribe. They would eat them, cannibals and shit.
Yeah, but if you look at the wicked stuff that we had to endure, the captivity leading into this place over here, there was no guard. Like if I ate this dude over here, I'm in cannibalism or whatever, and I eat this, I'm cannibal. I eat this guy, and there's no punishment for that. But that's a source of meat. And it tastes good to me for whatever reason, and there's no punishment for it. God's not coming down and intervening, because you turned our back on us.
Ecclesiastes 8 and 11.
It's Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, Therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
Only way you know not to do bad is if you get punished for it. Same thing with our people in this life. They do all types of wickedness, but because there's no punishment, they don't know that it's bad. They don't take it for bad.
Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his day be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear Yahweh, which fear before him. But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not Yahweh.
And all the wicked things that the indigenous tribes over here were doing, why you think the Most High allowed this devil to come out of the bottomless pit and bring his ass over here and do what he did to them? Because look what the shit that they was doing over here in America.
They came over here to be separate to try to keep the laws perfectly, but they were corrupt when they got over here. So the devil came on his big ships, and they're like, who's this guy on these big ass ships? Are those the chariots of God? And they came bearing a new image of they hadn't seen the Lord yet because they wasn't over there. Okay, they wasn't over there when the Lord had, came across the land, but they had the stories knowing about it. So they can only read about it and imagine. So when they saw them and they said, "Oh, that's been about us." And look, we got the images, we got all the stuff that pertains to it. They believed it.
That's the lost tribe.
Right. Right.
And they never received, no teachings,
No,
Right,
what
just
you
what
got to
they
understand.
but they remembered at the time.
He said that the Levites weren't there, so
They were the law
they knew the law. So like, say he was the elder, and then he passed it on to his son, and passed it on to his son. The law was watered down, so they were doing stuff like cannibalism because that's not in our laws, but it was watered down because 5 generations down the line they didn't know. They didn't know that was off.
And maybe they missed a lot of the prophecies too that stayed over there. They never got them because they was scattered already.
For example, look at Jake today. Jake is still the same way. You know, the only men that understand the scriptures are the men of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you know?
the Spirit was given
That
us.
the Spirit
Go
was
to
given unto you.
Ezekiel 37 about
Right.
the dry bones.
Yep.
We was all dry. We didn't have no moisture, man. We didn't have the breath of the Lord. We were all dead in our wickedness.
Spiritually dead.
This is Ezekiel 37, and I started the...
But some of our tribes, whether in Africa or whether here in the Americas, you have certain tribes that did keep certain traditions that goes back to the commandments. But as a whole, they pretty much lost their way.
It was the enemies, the ones that turned the Taínos and everything, that was their enemies.
Yeah.
Evil ass wicked ones.
It's Romans 10 and 2. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of the Most High, but not according to knowledge.
That's a moniker of our people too. We have a zeal. Read 8:16.
This is Romans 8 and 16. It says, the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most
The
High.
Spirit of the Most High bears witness with our personal experience as Israelites that we are the children of the Most. And if you look at how they put this written in a poetic rap kind of, the same analogy, the same like metaphors, written just like we think and talk. Like, yo, that was bananas. You know exactly what I mean. Scriptures is written that way. Hey, that was fire, right? It's written the same analogy. As
Scriptures talking about waxing fat.
Yeah.
Jay be like, man, my pockets is fat.
Yeah.
Y'all ever heard of? You ever heard of the native Taino of Cuba, the chief Hataway? The Indian named Hataway. Hataway.
Okay.
He's the chief Taino over there when the colonizers came, the Spaniards came, you know, colonizing them and enforcing Catholicism on them, you know. After they murdered all these people, raped these women, killed these children. They knew that in order for them to convert all them Indians to Catholicism, they needed Hataway to convert.
Right.
So you can tell his people, yo, you know, accept this.
Like, it's like in the time of slavery.
They tied up.
It's always going to be sellouts that allows their society to be infiltrated by the enemy.
Right.
Check this. So Hathaway, they tied him to the stake. They tied him to a stake, and they said, "You convert now, or we're gonna burn you at the stake." And he said, he looked around and he told the priest, he said, "When I die, am I gonna go to the same heaven as you and all your men?" And the priest said, "Yes." He said, "Burn. I don't wanna go nowhere near your people." So was he righteous? Was he a righteous man? Was he Israelite?
It sounds like the Maccabees. The same with the Maccabees. Read the book of the Maccabees.
Maccabees in the Bible.
Yeah,
It's a chapter.
the last
dry? And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answer, O Lord, power Yahweh, thou knowest. Again he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. Because in the Apocrypha it says, wisdom is more moving than any motion. She is the breath of the Most High. That's like something. It says, thus saith the Lord power Yahweh unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. And I'll lay sinews upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you. And ye shall live.
Because what made us dead as a people? We lost our way. It tells you that in Proverbs the 21st chapter, he that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead.
Yep.
This wisdom in this book, this is our wisdom right here. This is our breath.
she's
Without
dead.
it, we're dead.
Other church walking around, he's dead that don't have this.
Without it, our people don't know not to, the Lord expects, certain protocols, ways of conduct, ethics. It's a certain way that you have to live, conduct yourself. That's contained in this.
Within yourself and amongst each other. And with the animals and the earth itself. And we're not doing that. As a whole nation.
Is continue 6. And put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. And he said unto me, then he said unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus saith the Lord power, come from the four winds of breath, and breathe upon these slain that they may live.
Stop there. Somebody get 4, I think it's the 4th chapter. Get that real quick. It's basically in these last days, you're seeing those dry bones be brought back.
After, to wrap it all up.
There's Baruch 4 and 37. Lo, thy sons come. When thou sentest away, they come gathered together from the east to the west by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory of Yahweh.
So it's the word that's being pushed, and for so long, the true understanding of this Bible, it had been without fruit. Everything was, whatever the white man said, whatever history that he wanted to write up and put in the history books, the whole world accepted it. He covered. He's the one who put that covering cast over the people. It's like a hidden veil that's covered over the face of the earth, where everybody. There's a lot of things that are out of whack. Like for instance, people think that the new year starts on December 31st.